My first week working in Japan, my boss walked up to my desk at 6 p.m. on a Friday and said 3 words that changed my entire understanding of this country. Nomikai. Tonight. Mandatory. I had no idea I was about to enter one of Japan's most powerful and most misunderstood social institutions. Japan's drinking culture isn't just about alcohol. It's about hierarchy, trust, obligation, and occasionally your boss doing something that would get him fired in any Western country. Stay with me, because by the end of this video, you'll understand why drinking in Japan is less about the drink and everything about the relationship. I'm covering 5 truths about Japanese drinking culture that nobody tells you before you arrive. And yes, we're getting to what my boss actually did. It's worse than you think. Truth number 1. Nomikai is not optional. Nomikai literally means drinking gathering. But calling it a party would be like calling a job interview a casual chat. There is nothing casual about it. In most Japanese companies, nomikai events happen multiple times a year for welcoming new employees, farewells, end-of-year parties called Bonenkai, and sometimes just because it's Tuesday. Declining is possible, but decline too often? Your colleagues notice. Your boss notices. The unspoken social contract of Japanese work life runs through these gatherings, not around them. Nomikai is where relationships are forged, where the mask of formal office behavior comes off, just slightly, and where your standing in the group is quietly, constantly being evaluated. Truth number 2, you never pour your own drink, and if you do, you've just committed a social felony. In Japan, pouring drinks, especially beer or sake, is an act of service and respect. The junior person pours for the senior. The host pours for the guest. You watch everyone else's glass. The moment it gets low, you reach for the bottle. And critically, when someone pours for you, you hold your glass with both hands. You don't just let it sit on the table. That's the equivalent of not making eye contact during a handshake. The pouring ritual encodes the entire social hierarchy of the room into every single drink. Miss it once, and you'll be quietly corrected. Miss it twice, and people remember. Truth number 3, nobody drinks before the kanpai. Not one sip. Kanpai is the Japanese toast, and the rules surrounding it are ironclad. You wait. Everyone waits. Glasses are raised, ideally slightly lower than your superior's glass, as a sign of respect. Then, the kanpai is called. Then, you drink. Reaching for your beer before the kanpai is like skipping grace at your grandmother's dinner table, technically survivable, but never forgotten. And the first drink? Almost always beer. It doesn't matter if you hate beer. It's the social lubricant of the opening ritual. You adapt. You hold the glass with both hands. You look people in the eye. You say kanpai. Like you mean it. Truth number 4. Getting drunk with your boss is professional development. Welcome to Nomunication. Nomunication, a portmanteau of nomu and communication, is the real language of Japanese office culture. It's the idea that the things you cannot say at a desk, you can say after 2 rounds of Sapporo at an izakaya. Salarymen will voice frustrations, share dreams, speak candidly to superiors, but only under the understood cover of "we were drinking." There's even a cultural norm called memorandum of alcohol. What's said at nomikai largely stays at nomikai. This is why companies that eliminated nomikai during COVID saw alarming drops in team cohesion. The drink was never the point. The conversation was. Truth number 5, and the story I promised you. Nobody leaves before the boss does. At my first nomikai 2 hours in, I was exhausted. I stood up to grab my jacket. The entire table went quiet. My colleague grabbed my arm, shook his head very slightly, and pointed his eyes at our section chief. Still eating, still drinking. I sat back down. 20 minutes later, my boss, a 58-year-old section chief with perfect posture and a serious face, stood up, looked directly at me, and began to sing karaoke. Unprompted, aggressively, into an invisible microphone. That was the signal the evening had officially entered its second phase. And I understood then what Japan had been trying to teach me all along: this country has a public face and a private one. And you only get to see the private one over drinks. If you found this useful, subscribe. I post real Japan culture content every week. Drop a comment. Would you do Nomikai? I'll see you in the next one. Kanpai.